It is me. It is I. I think I'm gonna put my glasses on. Okay, I'm less blind now. Hello. I'm in my garage right now. New setting unlocked. I don't know how the sound's gonna be out here because my neighbors are doing some kind of construction next door. So I don't know, but I figured I wanted to kind of make a video talking about my art and like being a visual artist that like kind of can't draw, also has always been like insecure like drawing because I never felt good enough at it. So I thought, what better than to do that at my little workbench that hasn't been used in quite some time. This was specifically made so I can like make out so I'd have a space to make art at, and I haven't really used it much because I've hit a lot of roadblocks and a lot of discouragement, and it's really hard to make art out of undergrad. If you were a former art student or whatever, you probably understand that feeling of like it's kind of hard to like make art. Or I don't know if this is a universal feeling. Sorry, the birds are speaking to me for a second. I don't know if this is a universal feeling, but I definitely think it's been harder for me to make art without like having it be like a class assignment or something like that. So I don't know, it's been a real struggle, and it's something I'm still pretty passionate about doing. Like I love printmaking, but it's just kind of been really hard to make a lot of art, and like it's been really like I've been really unmotivated, especially because I don't have the same access to all the resources I had to make all the art that I made before, especially the art that I really like making that makes me feel the most confident in my art making process or like as a creative, as an artist. So it's just been a big roadblock, and I've kind of been called to kind of like make a video talking about my art, and honestly I've been feeling a little bit more inspired these days to make stuff. So I decided to also like make this video about it because I'm just like, hey, I'm starting this creative endeavor, and this creative endeavor is kind of helping me wanting to make stuff. So we're gonna start small, and I'm just going to show you some art I've made before. And I like reflecting back. I'm a reflector type. Don't like, sorry, I'm the nostalgic, I'm like, you remember those times type of person. And it really helps me like with the generation of new ideas. Like it makes me generate new ideas. I don't know why I used the word generation. So we're going to be talking about some art I've made. I've got a couple of prints behind me that I've made, and I might also do a little tour of my workbench depending on how long this video is going to be. Let me start. I don't know what I'm titling this video, but for the most part, I can't draw. I like can kind of draw. I mean, don't get me wrong, I was an art student, and with my studio art degree, we were forced, like it was mandatory to take 2 drawing classes, beginning drawing and intermediate drawing, which I hated. I absolutely loathed drawing. Like I just couldn't do it. But so I was made to do that, so I can like kind of like I understand foundationally what it is and like how to do it, I guess. But it's just something that never came naturally to me. I know it's something you have to practice, and I'm trying my best to like trying to draw more and like sketch more, but it was just never something I really partook in. Like I was always a digital media format kind of artist. I mean, like photography, videography, like filmmaking, like those were my mediums of artistry. And so when I went into doing a studio art degree, I loved it because I got to learn a lot of things outside of just learning how to make videos as art. But it was like a real tackle for me in some subjects because it was just kind of like, like I don't know how to draw, and like a lot of the other people in my major, they like actually kind of knew how to draw, and so not kind of knew. There was a lot of talented people. Obviously, there's always going to be talented people no matter what. There's always going to be someone better than you. But regardless, I had the most insane case of imposter syndrome. Oh my god, there's a bee. Okay, the bee's gone. Anyways, I had an insane case of imposter syndrome. So it was really hard for me to just like kind of draw. I don't know. I just never felt like I was good enough for it. I have this like tiny sketchbook and it has a bunch of googly eyes on it. There's going to be a lot of close-ups. It has a bunch of googly eyes on it. It's supposed to be for like mini collages. I really like making collages. I think that's like something I always felt really drawn to. I like piecing things together, you know. It's always been kind of fun for me to make collages, and you'll see that in a couple other of my prints I'll show, but I really like it. And this sketchbook was intended to be kind of like a mini collage sketchbook. Only like a couple pages really have anything in it, like art-wise. And then, you know, some angsty stuff in here. I started this at the time where I was like in a really bad situationship and I was like going through it. So I haven't really picked it up. I haven't really made anything in it since that moment, but I really love this little sketchbook and I love the googly eyes on it. I think that's super fun. But that's that one. Next we have this sketchbook. It's old. Like I had this since I started undergrad because I remember my drawing teacher, my first drawing teacher, she told us to have some kind of sketchbook, and this was like the first one I ever got. It's not even full, and I've had this for like 3 years. That shows you how bad I am at like actually keeping up with my sketchbooks, but I'm gonna try my damnedest to like fill these up at least within this year or two. I don't know, we'll try to make that a year goal, but who the freak knows? I'm going to take you to my favorite page in the sketchbook. Okay, here it is. This is my favorite page in the sketchbook. It was when I was in intermediate drawing. So my second or third one, I don't know. We had to like take many drawing classes as like a mandatory requirement. I hated it, but this I really loved. It was okay. Don't get me wrong. Learning how to use like drawing ink was a pain in the ass to learn. But like actually like doing it like was so fun and so freeing, and I think this is like when I started to discover like I didn't like art that looked super uniform or neat. Like I really was someone who enjoyed the fluidity, and I think like learning the watercolors was super fun and just brought me a lot of joy. So I don't know, I really like this page. I love the colors. I've always wanted to get back into watercolors, but it's just it's a very complicated process. And honestly, shouts out to anybody who's like main medium is like drawing ink or watercolors. Like this isn't watercolors, it was like drawing ink is what it was called. But I loved it so much. And like, look at this page, just full of whatever, it's a blob, but I love it so much. Anyways, now we're going to talk about some prints I've made. And I just want to say, I love printmaking. Printmaking was, like, whenever I took a printmaking class, it was the most fun I had learning, like, an artistic, like, a way to make art or whatever. It was so much fun. Like, I learned 3 different types. But yeah, it gave me so much joy, and I think what I really loved about it was I really loved the process of it and like how hands-on it was without like feeling super taxing. I have a little example of something I did a while back for the short film showcase that I hosted. It's just this like, it was for tote bags, and I carved out this little design. I didn't come up with the design, my friend did, and I was just like, hey, I'll just make it because we really wanted merch, and we're very low budget, so we didn't have the budget to really make something super professional. My second time in printmaking, I learned how to screen print, and we mainly I just hit my elbow. I made a lot of work that was kind of image based, because with screen printing you can transform like digital images into halftones, and then you can put that on a screen, and then you can print it on some paper, and I thought that was cool. It was pretty sick. I love screen printing. I adore screen printing. It is so fun, and I love how like my images transform with the methods of screen printing. It's so fun, and it also like helps me like put my collages that I make into a different form. I'll show you in some print. Let me see. Oh, this one. Okay, this is not my best one, but it's because I sold all the other ones. But I sold a bunch of these prints because this is like my magnum opus of like printmaking. Like I don't know if I'll ever top this, to be honest. It's honestly kind of still one of my favorite pieces ever. But it was just like a collage of a bunch of images, like even some of my own images, like this portion right here, or honestly this whole background, like with the girl holding the pomegranate. They're all photos that I actually took, and I included it in my collage. And some of this is like vintage paper, and some of them are like little doodles I made and squiggles. The title of this piece is called Love Spell, and it was like, I love this. Like, I absolutely adore this piece. It was like one of my favorites. Honestly, if I could go back in time, the only thing I'd want to do is maybe print bigger. Like, I would love to see this like enlarged in a way. I think that would be pretty sick. But for the most part, I love the size. I love the collage. I wouldn't change anything about the composition personally. But yeah, this was made with a method called CMYK. So basically you like separate your layers and you half-tone your layers, and that's a whole process. This isn't a how-to video. If you want to learn how to CMYK print, it's my favorite kind of screen printing. It's very taxing, takes up a lot of resources, so if you don't have that kind of access to resources, probably not the thing to do. But it was very fun to do when I had the access to the resources and the ability and time to make it. And there's something about halftones that like are really satisfying to me, and like the way it kind of like blurs and like distorts the image. Big fan of distortion in images. So I don't know, I love this piece so much. Third time taking a printmaking class, because I took intermediate printmaking twice, because you have to take a whole bunch of intermediate classes, and since I like printmaking, I was like, I'll just stick with this. In my third printmaking class, we got to learn how to do intaglio. Intaglio, it's a fun process. It's definitely like, out of the three that I've learned, it's my second favorite. No. Yeah, it's my second favorite, honestly speaking. But the biggest thing with intaglio is low-key, you gotta know how to draw. Like, low-key, like, but intaglio was really fun. It's a lengthy process for sure, but I did enjoy that aspect. Like I said, I really like the processes of this kind of art making. It's kind of like what drew me to it. It's just how involved you are in each step. And so I made this one. I drew this one. Yes. It was inspired by the grid method in drawing. You know how, I don't know if any of you have ever partaken in a drawing class or been in drawing class or whatever, but in my very first drawing class, like in high school, we learned how to draw by grid. So like we take an image, put a grid over it, and then just draw like square by square. So this print was kind of inspired by that, but it's a mix of two images. It's supposed to be a flower and a pomegranate are the mix of two images. I don't know if it can be seen, but I think it's kind of, since I know what it is, I know I can see that, but who knows if anybody else could. But that's the fun and beauty of art. It's up to anybody's interpretation. This one I liked a lot. It's another collage, and I feel really happy about this because this is where I was getting to a point where I realized how much I really enjoy collaging, and like how I like transferring that collage into another medium. Super fun. But I love this one. It was super cool. You basically screen print onto the copper plate, and I don't it's really hard to explain the entire process of intaglio. I definitely recommend like maybe eventually like looking it up and like kind of just watching a video on how it happens. I think it's super fascinating of a process to learn, and I'm super glad that I was able to learn it. Wait, one final piece. This is my last one that I made. Strawberries. I'm a strawberry girl. I don't know if you'll come to learn that about me, but I made this strawberry print. What I love about this is how thick the borders are. I love a good small print on a big piece of paper. That's my favorite kind of print. Ugh, I eat it up every single time based off a reference photo that I just found off Pinterest. And it was like something I didn't put a lot of deep thought into. It was just kind of like, I like strawberries and I'm just gonna make a strawberry print, and ta-da! Probably one of my favorite intaglio prints, if I'm not gonna lie. And it was also the time I learned to print with 2 colors with intaglio, so that was also pretty cool. I'm just realizing I never showed my cyanotype stuff either. I love printmaking, as you can tell. I really do love printmaking. I'm gonna just show this shirt right here, and there's gonna be a lot of pictures interlaid, but I love cyanotype. I love the blues. I love that you can make images with the sun and UV light. Super cool, super fun. But yeah, I would sell at markets. I would make shirts like that and sell them at markets, and they were a hit. They're kind of ephemeral. They don't really last well, but oh wait, let me show this one. This is another good example of what it looks like. The like bug. I made a lot of bug shirts because I thought they were cool. I love printmaking and I love making art, and even though I can't really draw for shit, I've never been deterred from making stuff. And I do want to improve my drawing skill. Well, not only improve, I just want to draw more, because I always felt super not confident in drawing that I just didn't draw. And I think now that I'm out of an academic setting where I kind of like am forced to draw for a project or what have you, I think now more than ever I can actually just kind of draw freely and fluidly and not really think too much about whether or not it's going to be well liked. So yeah, that's my art. And now I guess I'll show you my workbench, my really messy workbench, and show you some of the inks and show you some of the stuff I use. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and please like and subscribe. I realize I have not said that in a single video yet, and I'm just not on that YouTuber grind set, you feel me? But like and subscribe if you like the video. Bye.